Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and I like keeping what I put into this brain of mine here. I don't want to have to learn everything again. I'm talking about the Smith Scout today. Next to it, I have the Smith Method, new for 2024, and the Smith Vantage that's been around for a long time. And it's their high-end, super techy helmet. I put a lot of days on this, some warm days, some freezing cold days, some days when it's dumping, and some days when it's raining, so I could give you a really good in-depth review and talk about how it compares to the Method, which replaced the Maze, and the Smith Vantage, a very high-end helmet. This is 1.2 pounds. The Vantage is about 1.2 pounds as well, but the Method is 0.8 pounds. So if you want a really light helmet, you want to pay the extra money for the Method. It's very minimalist, but it's very light. It almost feels like there isn't a helmet on. You feel this, but it's not the heaviest out there. I felt a lot of heavier helmets. And here's how this Scout fits me with goggles on under the pretty lights, which is weird, but hey, hopefully it helps. I like the goggle attachment. It does have kind of a quasi lock here, and it holds the goggles in place well. I like this brim that goes over the goggles. I really appreciate that in powder days or when I slash really hard and drive a lot of snow into this and sometimes over some bumpy terrain or something like that. So the helmet and goggle might separate for just a few milliseconds and sometimes snow can get in. With the Method, I find that less snow gets in with this, especially on days where it's dumping. This little brim helps. Same with the Vantage. Now, in comparison to the Method, you can see the profile is much lower. This has a great fit as well. I actually like this lower profile fit better than the Scout. I just don't feel like I have as big of an egghead, but it's pretty close. And as you can see, the goggles do stick out just to the brim. And these are the Smith 4D Mag goggles. They're about as big as I can fit on my face comfortably. I find that all goggles, as long as you get them to fit correctly for your face, will match up well with any Smith helmet. And I don't think it's necessary to have Smith goggles with a Smith helmet. I like this little goggle compatible hook on the back too. And then in comparison to the Vantage, an ultra high-end expensive helmet, you can see there's a really good fit too. It has a very low profile like the Method here, and it has a nice brim that protects you from powder. That's very similar to the Scout. Not a huge fan of this for the goggle thing. It's very easy, convenient, and light, but over time it breaks or stretches out. Now the Scout has this elastic, adjustable thing on the back of your head that works with any head circumference in the size range. So does the Maze, so does the Method, but this fancy Vantage, it's got an adjustable BOA here, so you can dial it out perfectly. And I did find that this held tight to my head the best, but it comes at a high price. When it comes to warmth, I haven't found a helmet in Smith's line as warm as the Scout. So if you run a little cold, you might appreciate this more than the Method and the Vantage. But on spring days, I find the Vantage the best with all these vents. You can see here, you can close these vents easily and get good venting. These vents work forever. I've never broken one, and I put hundreds of days on a single helmet. So this vents really well when it's warm and does a pretty good job when it's cold. Not quite as good as these two, but not enough for it to be a deal breaker. I found that the venting on the Method is pretty good. I was surprised that not having top vents and just this venting thing here and venting through the top here for your goggles that then runs through the helmet and out the back. I thought that was marketing BS, but it actually does a pretty good job. So does the Scout, but just not as good as the Method. I found that the Scout runs a little bit warmer on hot days. You have ear pads that remove very easily, and they're really easy to snap back in place, as you can see there. They're audio compatible too. They have this little foam inside, and all you do is unzip this right here, reach in, and you just pull out this little foam square. Then you can put in something like ODT chips or outdoor technology chips, which are my personal favorite. They have better sound than the Alex. Smith used to work with these, and I'm bummed they stopped because I just find these are the best. They're the most reliable, best sound. They've never failed on me. It takes a lot of years of riding for these to fail on me, like 4 or 5 in the past. I've just bought new ones for this year. I tried going with Elect, but I couldn't get their basic functions, you know, power it off, power it on, play, pause, next, to work correctly. I didn't find the sound was that great, and I didn't find that it fit in the helmet that well. So if you're gonna do chips, do outdoor tech. But if you're somebody who wants to remove the ear pads and put on a beanie or something like that, they'll work great as well. So overall, I got this Scout primarily to compare to the Smith method. I was slightly curious about it, but I thought I might end up giving it to a friend or selling it, but I ended up keeping it and using it a lot, especially when it dumps or it rains. I love having this brim versus the Method's no brim. This is a very good helmet for the price point, and I think it'll work for a wide variety of snowboarders who just want something more skate-like, more snowboard friendly, but with good protection over your goggles. And of course, it's MIPS, multiple angle impact protection, so it gives you a little bit better protection than your standard helmet, or at least that's what they say. So I'm gonna buy into it and go for the better helmet too, because I like my brain. So there you have it.